The CARICOM Youth Ambassador Program was launched in St. Lucia in 1993 by the heads of government and was formally instituted in 1994. Since its inception, the Youth Ambassador Program has contributed to increase youth knowledge and awareness of CARICOM issues and priorities. Recently, the two new 2022 to 2024 St. Kitts Nevis Youth Caribbean Ambassadors were announced. Ayana Franks and Jalen Monzac, Jalen is here with us today to tell us more about this. So good morning, Jalen, and welcome back to Good Morning SKN.
Good morning. Thank you for having me. Good morning, SKN.
Indeed. And I have so much congratulations for you today.
Thank you.
Congratulations on your appointment and congratulations on your recently completed bachelor's.
Thank you so much.
So what is next for you?
What is next for me? That's a great question. Well, I think I'm already in my next stage, which is the CARICOM Youth Ambassador. Being in that role, that came after finishing the bachelor's, kind of. So now I'm graduating into that role of being the CARICOM Youth Ambassador and still being involved in other youth groups such as the Youth Parliament. I'm also looking to change my career to go. Right now I'm working at the college at CFPC. So I want to change into something that relates to my degree, which is in economics. So that's what is going on for me right now in terms of that. So I'm in that transition phase, you could call it.
Okay. So in what particular area would you prefer to work where you can definitely apply what you would have learned in your economics degree?
So areas, I would say I could say companies. Okay. I would say Ministry of Finance, whether as an analyst or as a economist. Okay. That's a start for me, or even as a finance officer as well. That's even a start for me. So I have that plan. I also have plans to continue with my education. That will be online, so I'll be doing my master's soon. Okay. I can't tell you when, but definitely they will be soon for the master's. Okay, any PhD in the future, since we have that topic this morning? Yeah, definitely there will be a PhD by the age of 30. I've already I like that. Put the goal there. So,
nice.
And I don't doubt that you'll accomplish it, Jalen.
Yes,
all right. So one of the things that jumped out to me is that the CARICOM Youth Ambassador Program seems to sensitize youth about CARICOM issues and priorities. I know that you've been recently appointed to this office, but what can you tell us would be some of those issues or priorities that would get focus?
Okay, so that's for what we have? Or?
Yes.
Okay. So what we want to do is get as much people, have an impact on as much young people as possible. And some of the priorities that CARICOM is looking at is climate change. That's one of the most important priorities, as well as regional integration. We're looking at having a panel discussion where we can discuss regional integration and what is happening with aviation right now in the Caribbean. So that's one thing that we are looking forward to doing. Some other things that we're doing is in terms of youth in leadership and decision making. Right now we have a core, which is about 11 persons on that core. And we are trying to empower them to carry out their own projects and their own tasks within that. So in the CARICOM, they have a lot of priorities and plans. I think there's a 5-year period in terms of when they update them. So they are continuously updated.
All right, one question for you, because you linked, well, I don't know if you linked it, and that's why I need clarity. Regional integration and aviation, two separate issues, or do you see them relating?
Okay, so aviation is very important to regional integration. Regional integration is basically the Caribbean coming together. And as you know, we are separated geographically, so we need some sort of mechanism to get us from, let's say, St. Martin to St. Kitts or St. Kitts to Barbados. And the aviation industry, for example, LIAT, has been very important in terms of promoting that regional integration, in terms of you being able to meet your CARICOM neighbor, you're meeting your family member, because also we have family members which are spread across the region as well. So aviation is very important in terms of boosting that regional integration.
All right, so aviation is inimical to...
yes, they go hand in hand.
Exactly. Integration.
So I want to continue along the tracks of aviation. Do you and Ms. Franks, do you intend to meet with aviation personnel to discuss a way forward?
Well, actually, we have already engaged this person, Mr. Dennis McCall. I don't know if you
Yes,
are
of
aware of
course.
him. Yes, okay. So he's doing a PhD in transportation and aviation, and he recently put out a video commenting on the aviation situation within the CARICOM region. And we already reached out to him in terms of having him on that panel discussion to continue that conversation. And we will try our best to reach out to the aviation minister as well to have that discussion.
Right. In terms of your relationship with the other youth ambassador, Miss Ayanna Franks, have you two begun, charting a course for what your joint tenure would look like?
Oh, yes, definitely. We've had several calls. We've met in person so many times. Actually, we met across by Michael Burgers one time, and we've been discussing. One of the first things that we wanted to do is to be as visible as possible. And the first thing that we do, we had planned a ceremony to officially launch us as CARICOM Youth Ambassadors and the core members. And then from there, we decided to have an official meeting. Our official meeting was on the last week, Saturday, with the core members, and we would have discussed several plans, including being involved in the Youth Month activities. We plan to attend the church service. We plan to put out a video statement commemorating the Youth Month, as well as being involved in the Remarkable Teens and the Skinniper Mock Parliament sitting.
Nice. How humbled or how overjoyed were you when you were told you were nominated or you have this position?
Okay, I am a very humble person by heart, and it was unexpected. I had no thought of being a CARICOM Youth Ambassador, especially based on my demeanor as a soft-spoken person and being reserved as it may be seen. Yes. So I was like, I was gonna get overlooked over this. So I had no expectations. I was a part of the CARICOM Youth Ambassador Corps, but I had no expectations of being the CARICOM Youth Ambassador. Okay.
Nice.
Yes.
But it does put you in the spotlight as a soft-spoken person. Yes. I know that you don't have confidence issues at all. So obviously, we're looking at it through the lens of youth. Do you think that it provides an opportunity for you to be a role model to youth?
Yes, I do. I think that I provide, for me personally, I bring a different type of person. As I said, more of the reserved and the shy person, if you want to call it that. If you want to call it that.
We're not getting that, but I feel like
I won't say that.
Oh, you will get that. You will get that.
Exactly.
But seeing me, I've heard people tell me, you're so shy and all this and so reserved. So I feel like that would motivate people to want to come to me and have a conversation with me, or even want to be a part of the conversation or be a part of a leadership position within you, because they see that this person here is not an outspoken person, or he does not seem to be an outspoken person, is here doing things. So it just shows that everybody has a space within this whole dialogue.
Indeed. Why do you think, Jalen, it's important for youth to be informed or educated on CARICOM and its issues?
Okay, so I think that youth is important. It's important for youth to know what is happening with CARICOM, because CARICOM affects all of us. As I spoke about with the regional integration, we all understand that we are one region and we are competing on a world stage. So it is very, very important for all of us to have that buy-in in terms of what CARICOM has to offer. CARICOM has a lot of benefits in terms of, for example, these CSME agreements where you're able to work in different islands because of your skills and those things. So it's very important for CARICOM nationals, for young people, to understand that these things are available, as well as to understand that CARICOM fights for different priorities and issues such as health, and that they're very instrumental in the HIV and AIDS pandemic, epidemic that is going on. And so the information is there, and I'm encouraging each and every young person, and even persons who are older than us, to go out and listen to what CARICOM has to offer, listen to all of the plans and ideas that we have to offer. A plan is not as good if there isn't a buy-in and if there's not everybody in that plan. Yes.
All right, what I want to ask you about now is the linkage or the conflict between patriotism or nationalism and the buy-in to CARICOM. We're talking about freedom of movement, freedom of persons, and there are a lot of people, as you said just now, who don't appreciate the fact that we can move as well. We see other people coming to our country, and sometimes we think, especially as younger persons who are looking for jobs, that there are not enough opportunities here. How do you sell that? How do you reconcile nationalism with support for CARICOM?
Okay, so just to bring it down, so you're saying comparing it between the
patriotic
country.
Yes, as in this is my country. I want to do what's great for my country. Yeah, exactly.
Okay.
And national pride, as it were, and the conflict that comes with the influx of persons to our shores, without realizing that as part of CARICOM, we have the ability to move as well.
Yes.
And work in other places. How do you reconcile? How do you sell that to someone, a younger person who might not necessarily appreciate that?
Well, I would talk about it from what I said earlier in terms of, we are in one region, in one space, and we can't do it on our own. We are resource limited in terms of the resources that we have, so we can't do it on our own. So, as you said, there are opportunities that are out there that may not be in St. Kitts, that are in Jamaica, and even for the Jamaican national who sees the opportunities in St. Kitts but not in Jamaica, they come here to St. Kitts. So it's really about researching about those opportunities, having an understanding that we are all here to work together. We are not fighting against each other. We are here to work together. So I know that there is several talks about non-nationals coming here and taking up the jobs and those kind of things, but it's all in the essence of development. Is in the essence of development of your country, of a CARICOM region, which we all will benefit from.
You were present at the opening of the National Assembly yesterday. Let's talk about that experience for you, the highlights. What did it mean to be there?
Okay, so that was my first time being at the opening of Parliament. I've seen it online, so it was definitely an experience. Seeing it in person in terms of the tradition, in terms of how what caught me was when the leader of the opposition and the Prime Minister, they were asked to fetch the Speaker. I don't know if you all saw that. That was, I never knew that they do that at the Parliament, so that was a very interesting part. So that was for me, it was very intriguing. I was very awake and alive and everything. I mean, there was at some point in time, some commotion that was happening when, a member went up and, I was a bit disappointed in that because, it's an honorable house and, we should respect the house no matter how we feel about it. And I feel as if we need to become more politically mature. We are over the elections and we need to move on with our development. So, but overall, the sitting, it went well. It was very seamless. The clerk, it's pronounced clerk, she was really good in terms of executing her duties. And even the speaker, I see that she has a presence, she has a very powerful voice, and I know that she will do very well as the Speaker of the National Assembly.
So, for the novice like myself and others who may be listening and viewing, what does it mean to fetch the Speaker? Okay,
so firstly, what happens is that one of the members, they would nominate someone to be the Speaker, which is usually someone in the general public. It could be somebody within the Parliament. So they would nominate and they would get a seconder. And once nominations are seized and that person is voted in to be the Speaker, the clerk would ask the mover and the seconder, which at that time would have been the Prime Minister being the mover and the seconder being the leader of the opposition, to fetch the Speaker, because the Speaker was outside. She wasn't inside Parliament. So it's for her to be invited into Parliament, basically.
Okay.
Yes.
And I saw the visual on that, so I understand what you mean when you say it was very interesting to watch, because it looked quite interesting, to say the least.
Yes.
The way that she walked in with them on either side of her, and then they had to present her, of course. So it was great. Well coordinated as well.
Indeed.
All right, so Jalen, you and I were talking a little bit during the break about your work, particularly as a CARICOM Youth Ambassador. And I just want to say you get your issues from CARICOM to focus on. That's how it works. So indirectly, then you are working with the Revised Treaty of Chaguaramas because you get instructions from them. Great. So this is a tall order for you. Well, not for you per se, but for anyone in the office.
Yes.
What are some of the things, and I know that you're at the start of your new term, but what are some of the things that you think you would like to leave by way of a legacy at the end of it, if you were to look forward to 2024?
So if I was at the end of this,
Yes.
this term and I was reflecting,
Yes.
what would I say was the most, or should be the most impactful?
Yes.
I would say, for one, overall, is just the core. I feel like that's very important, getting that core to be a working, strong group in terms of getting the agenda out there, whatever the agenda would be, and getting that out there, impacting as much people as possible as well, even persons who are older, impacting them. I think that would be my takeaway from it. Also being able to touch the issues of physical and mental health, the sustainable development goals. There are so many things that we have planned. So just looking forward to that, and I know that will be my biggest impact, being able to interact with as many people as possible, being able to have the different discussions, being able to have discussions with young people, being able to have discussions with government officials, people at CARICOM, etc., etc.
So how happy are you that you are at the table and they're no longer on the menu?
How happy am I?
Yes.
Okay, I am. I mean, it's really great to see that young people can be elevated to these type of positions. It's really good to see that I can, reach out to the minister, reach out to the director of youth empowerment to have these kind of conversations, and that they are very open with that. So I am very happy. I know that there's a lot of work that still needs to be done. Yes. In terms of getting more young people involved, in terms of creating policies that are youth-centered and that are youth-engaged. So I am happy, but I hope that we do not say that, okay, well, we just appoint a CARICOM Youth Ambassador, yeah, and we don't involve them. Or we just appoint somebody to be in a youth council and we don't really involve them, so we just have them as ornaments. I don't want to be an ornament. So I hope, even if I'm not called that, I will get the work done, and I will be in your face as the minister, as the director of youth empowerment, or wherever. I'll be in your face telling you that we need to get this done. Yes. Being continuously in your face, I won't be an ornament.